Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm Gaynor.
Two of us here today.
Yep.
Cowboy Kent, not done him for a while.
We haven't, no.
No, so we'll catch up on what he's been making and what he's been up to. And one thing I found there in the things, something we don't see over here, Sloppy Joes.
No, I remember the first time we moved to the States and somebody said, like, you know, Sloppy Joes, and I'm like, what the hell are they?
I had one from a sandwich shop in Newark.
Yeah.
It was like just I don't know, like a van.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you call them. What do you call them? Like I don't even know what you call them over here. Like a butty van type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call them in the USA. Can't remember.
Food truck.
Food truck, yeah. Yeah. But Cowboy Sloppy Joes that beat the can stuff. Let's go.
It's lunchtime at the wagon, and I hope y'all are hungry. This is the Cowboys' most requested sandwich, the hearty Sloppy Joe.
Love minced beef as well.
I do.
Welcome into camp, and what are we talking about? Sloppy Joes. Hey, it don't get no better than Sloppy Joes. Camp might look a little different to y'all. We done moved camp. We have really got a great spot here. It is a beautiful day up here in the pine trees, it is. But we get to talking about Sloppy Joes, and it really is, folks, the most requested cowboy meal that we've ever had if we're going to throw a sandwich out there. This is a very hearty meal, easy to fix. And whoo, they don't eat one, they don't eat two, they'll eat three or four. But we got to thinking, we have so many new viewers that have come along since we did that Sloppy Joe video so long ago that we better make this again, and we're going to even make it better than we did the first time. First thing I got to do is chop up an onion and some jalapenos. I'll meet you over at the fire. We'll get it to going.
Yep, two of the best ingredients you can get in any sandwich.
Hey, before we go any further, I got a question I need y'all to vote on, and you can comment down below. Do you leave the seeds in the membrane in jalapenos when you cook them? I want to leave them in there. Shan said take them out. So let's have a vote. But I got a little tip for you.
I'd take them out.
You know when you go to the grocery store and you see all them
makes them
jalapenos
spicy,
laying out there?
Yeah.
The ones that are really slick and shiny, have no marks on them, you see no veins, no cracks, no nothing. Usually, I would say 68% of the time, those peppers are not as hot, or the peppers that you might see that have a little white streak in them, or they've got little cracks in them somewhere, those are going to be hotter. But also, depends on climate, depends on soil. So we got our brazier skillet here, the Stargazer, going to slide over there. It has already been getting hot, it has. 2 pounds, 80-20 ground beef without the plastic thing. You can hear that sizzle.
80-20, do we call that 5%?
No, that'd be probably like 15%, 20%.
20%, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I use 5%.
Yeah, I've even found 3% now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, found 3% next door. But it's this so far for me, when you get that, it's like almost like when I have a chili, I have bread with my chili.
Yeah.
And I sort of like I scoop it onto the bread. So I have like French like crusty bread.
Yeah.
And I scoop it on. So it's not too dissimilar to that, I'm thinking, but this is gonna have all kind of cheese. Well, I mean, my chili has cheese on it anyway.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's not too dissimilar to that.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favourites, like just bread and meat.
Yeah.
We're going on there just a little. A mesquite spatula. And why do we use wood on cast iron? Because wood is not going to harm the seasoning coating. So let's just give it a little chopping up here. And you need to start with good 80-20 ground beef, and if you can, get ground chuck. To me, it's always better. But if you don't see what you're looking for out there in that butcher's tray, go around there and knock on the little deal and say, hey fella, you reckon you could mind grinding me up some 80-20 chuck right quick? I need 2 pounds to fix these Sloppy Joes. You know, when I tell people to get 80-20 ground chuck, that's coming from up here where the chuck roast and stuff is. It's better. There's a lot of good ground meat on a hamburger, but a lot of times in the trimmings, that will go in just regular ground beef. You're going to get the best flavor, to me, the best taste from ground chuck every time. Well, you can see that we begin to brown here just a little, and I like to sort of get it about half done before we ever season. And we're using our original seasoning. And remember, folks, we do also have this in our low sodium blend as well, so be sure and check that out. If you don't have it, you can use salt, black pepper. That's about all my mother ever had. But remember these good vegetables we had here? Think how happy them jalapenos would have been, Shan, if we'd have left the seeds and the membrane in there. So we're going to get all these raked in there. Now, I want to tell you something about a Sloppy Joe. When I did Chopped Grill Masters, You know, when I reached in that basket and I seen all this stuff, and it was sardines, which I had never seen in my life, and these were still alive, folks. They were swimming in the sack. And then I pulled out what? A can of Sloppy Joe mix. Who even uses Sloppy Joe mix, and who would put it with sardines? But Kent's brain got to thinking, him thinking, hey, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm fitting to stew down them sardines in a Dutch oven, chop them up really well, then I'm gonna mix me some Sloppy Joe stuff in there, add a little more barbecue sauce that I made homemade, stir it up. We're gonna have sardine Sloppy Joe. They informed me that's not the proper way that you cook a sardine. And I told all three of them judges, when I eat sardines, I was fixing fence most of the time. They cost 19 cents a can, bones, head, tail, and all. Pull the lid off of it, you eat it with a cracker. So when you mince this up in a Dutch oven and you mix all that stuff together, Cowboy Sloppy Joe sardine style, I still think it was a winner.
Not sure about that.
No.
Okay, when we're talking about using 2 pounds, my mother always told me a long time ago, 2 pounds of hamburger meat makes 8 hamburger patties. But when I'm looking at it on a ranch basis, and remember we're adding some stuff to this, but I try to make about 4 pounds of meat to feed about 10 cowboys because I know what's fixing to happen. This will be empty in a hurry. I guarantee you there is never a leftover when you have these Sloppy Joes.
I wonder why it's never cottoned on over here. Do you think it's the name?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, because we do have like a lot of similar things. Like we have a chili, and I mean,
we have like these more American restaurants opening than anything I've seen. Sort of like fast food, sort of like American style. You know, even like places now doing beef brisket and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've never seen over here
A Sloppy
Joes.
No.
Never.
No, I've
in
not.
anywhere.
No.
And even if they did serve it, I don't think it's going to be the same as a Sloppy Joes in the USA.
No, I agree.
I wonder why.
If there is excess grease in your skillet, slide it over there to the side, tilt it up a little, just get you a tablespoon or something and dip that out, because you don't want to leave that much grease in there. This is about all cooked out it has, but I'm going to tell you something too. We have a...
If there's excess fat, I push it to the side and then get a napkin and soak the fat out.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I just leave it in.
A lot of hunters that really watch our channel, and you can substitute this with ground deer meat, ground elk meat. It would work really well. So we've got it to this point to where I really like it. In the regular video that we did first and how my mother made it for many, many years, we just used regular old yellow mustard. But folks, I want to kick it up a notch, I do. Woo! So we're going to have some of our sweet and spicy mustard, and we're going to lay some of that in there because it's got some of them green chilies in it. And I'm saying probably about that much. To that,
I never knew it had mustard in.
we're going to add some of our barbecue sauce, our Red River Ranch mud. If you don't have that, substitute with any barbecue sauce you want. Now start out a little leaner on this portion of it because we can add some more if and we need to. Brown sugar. Now, it's going to bring about some sweetness because we got some heat in there, but also it's going to sort of caramelize it. It brings everything together and thicken it up just a tad. So in goes that.
Oh.
We'll go to mixing this all together, and I can already tell you, if the cowboys was riding up and they seen me making this, they would hurry to get them horses tied up and get back up here because they know it's going to run out pretty quick. Well, we got her back there to a simmer. I'm going to turn this heat down to low.
That brown sugar's thrown me off a little
We
bit.
need to let this simmer about 5 minutes to make sure that brown sugar and everything is really incorporated well in there. We do.
I just wouldn't have thought he'd put it in there.
You know what? I put sugar in when I make
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, it's just thrown me off a little bit, the amount he put in.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put like a tablespoon in.
Yeah, it seemed a lot.
Now, this is a good time for you to taste it too. And I'm going to tell you this. Give it a little cooling before you slap it in there. Just the smell of this, I guarantee you, if there's a cowboy within 100 miles here, he'll be here in about 5 minutes.
He's putting it back in the pot after he's had his
only
mouth
eating
around it.
Is it as good as you remember?
It is good as I remember, but it's better, I think, when you get that sweet and spicy mustard in there with them green chilies. Now, after you taste that, if you think, oh, I need just a little more barbecue sauce, or hey, I want to feel the kick of that mustard, now is the time to put it in there, but just let it simmer there for about 5 minutes. Just make sure you don't add too much of that barbecue sauce, that it gets too soupy and it'll run off the bun. Hey, while that's simmering along, let me give you a little history about lunchtime there at the wagon. You know, back in the 1870s, when they were having all the cattle drives, there was not 3 meals a day. They would gather around the wagon and have some breakfast, and old Cookie had to load everything in the wagon, hook up the mules, and set off because they're driving cattle all day long. Get them back up there, they feed supper wherever they're getting that day. Now, me and Shan on traditional ranch cooking now, we feed 3 meals a day. And when them cowboys come in and eat breakfast, say it's 4 or 4:30, they get plumb done. They go down there, somebody's already jingled up the horses, and what does that mean? Well, they had all these horses turned out in this pasture. They kept 2 up. Now, when we say they went to jingle in the horses, now so many years ago, they would probably put some horses out there, and 1 or 2 of them might have a bell on them, and you could hear them out there jangling along. Now, this would let them know where they was, where they might have been grazing in the night, or they might have bedded down. Cowboys could find them, bring them to a set of pens in there. They would get all the horses in there, cowboys would gather around, and they would begin to rope out mounts for that day's work. Now, they'd get in there with a big old grass rope or a nylon rope, and they would hula-han it. Now, this is a traditional loop you throw in here. Now, hula-han, you're going to float a big old loop way up in the air, and you bring it here and toss it. And then when it comes around, it's sort of facing that horse's head and just falls right there on top. He'll pull him out, give him to the cowboy that called the name out, they'll rope another one. They do this all the way through till everybody gets their mount, they saddle up, they begin to go out, they're going to make a gather, have a drive back to the pens. Now, depending on the time of the year, they could be weaning if it's in the fall, but if it's in the spring, they're gathering up, they're stripping the cows off the calves and the bulls, and they're going to brand all the calves. Then they'll put them back together. Now, usually about this time, things have went well, they be headed back to the wagon because it's about lunchtime. But a cow don't own a watch and she don't care. That could be anywhere from 11 o'clock till 2 o'clock. Most of the time, they'll give me and Shan a pretty good idea of when they're going to be through and what time they might be at camp. And after they eat, if they're not through, it's back to the pens they go. You can always tell if you know cowboys are going to have an easier afternoon or they still got a lot of work to do. They won't eat as much at noon. But if you see them load up 4 or 5 of them Sloppy Joes, you can think all they're going to do is go down there and unsaddle horses. They're through for the day. But then they'll get everything done. Hey, won't be long before it'll be time to start supper. It is a meal that is easy to tote along with you. I have seen one individual long many years ago. He would always make 1 extra, wrap it up, stick it in his pocket, and away he'd go after lunch. So, hey, Sloppy Joes, easiest thing in the world, but folks, this is a very hearty meal, and it will become your favorite too.
I'm gonna have a go.
Yeah.
Simmered along there about
Looks
5
right on my
minutes
street.
ahead, and I took me a taste. Everything is just right. I mean, don't get no better than that, but I need to thicken it up. And to thicken it up, we're gonna add some cheese. Now, originally I would just use cheddar cheese and just sprinkle it on top and mix it in there. But folks, I'm all about feeling some peppered up. Today I'm talking about jack it up, jam it up. What are we using? Pepper jack cheese, about 2 cups. This is gonna bind it all together, thicken it up. It don't take long for this to happen.
It's not too dissimilar to a Philly cheesesteak, is
Yeah.
it, really? And the scheme of it. I mean, the taste is going to be a little bit different, but
Yeah.
the texture of it's going to be pretty similar.
Yeah.
Which, like I say, it's right. This is right up my street,
Yeah.
100%.
Probably gonna take you maybe 1.5 to 2 minutes at the most to let that cheese get in there, get this thing sticking together, melting, making it really smooth. That's what keeps a Sloppy Joe all together. Folks, that is an outstanding sandwich right there. Feed every hungry person you ever seen in your life and they'll want more. But you see me right there at the end, we sprinkled a little cheese right there on top too before we added that bun back on there. Now that is optional if you don't want to do that. But another tip I'd like to give you too, after you get this meat browned up really well, you can put that in a crock pot if you want to. Put it on low till you get everything mixed in there and everything is done. Then turn that down on warm. It is ready for you to go. One of the greatest things you can take to a picnic, to a backyard party, these Sloppy Joes will make you the winner every time. I cannot wait to wrap a lip around this sandwich. I have been craving it ever since we put it together. Thank you, sweet Jesus. Wow. It flavor knocked it out of the park. But let me give you a tip. Now, our barbecue sauce has some chipotle pepper and adobo sauce in it. And if you don't have that with you, to your barbecue sauce, get you about 2 of them chipotle peppers out of that adobo sauce. Chop them up pretty good. Add them to that, folks. That's going to bring about the good smokiness that you're going to get from that, but it's going to give it just a little bit of heat too. Whew. Folks, this is the prize winning dish. You want to be the champion? This one right here will get you over the bar every time. You know, folks, it is with great pride, honor, and privilege that I tip my hat to all our servicemen and women and all the veterans that have kept that old flag a flying over camp. We commend you all. We do. Rest of you, get on up in here really close. I'm going to give you a Sloppy Joe hug. God bless you, each and every one, and I'll see you down the Sloppy Joe trail.
The only thing I'd change on that, for me, is the bun.
A crustier bun.
Not necessarily. I'm not keen on the poppy seed, like a burger bun.
I think it should be like a really crusty bun, and then you rip the bread out in the middle and pour it in like a little boat.
Yeah, see what you mean.
It soaks up the juices.
I do like the soft buns like that, but it's just the sesame seed, like burger buns. I think it deserves something a little bit better than that. And I think also, he said use chipotle peppers, didn't he? So like give it a barbecue. I think I'd probably drizzle my bread in like a chipotle sauce,
right,
and then put my sloppy joe on it. I'd like that on it, sort of thing, a bit similar to that. Maybe I'll try them both, but that's definitely right on my street. I'm going to make one of them.
I'm surprised. I thought when he bit into it, it was going to go all over the place, and it didn't.
They are messy, aren't they?
Yeah.
But the cheese keeps it sort of like compact a little bit, sort of thing. So it's it does look definitely straight on my street.
Yeah, we can't get Monterey Jack cheese over here.
I found it.
Where?
Next door.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's either next door or Waitrose.
I've seen it in Waitrose, but that's the only
I've definitely
place.
seen Monterey Jack, and I've seen there was another one. But is it Pepper Jack?
Pepper Jack.
Yeah, I've seen Pepper Jack as well, sort of thing. So it's so there's definitely
that's Pepper Jack, isn't it?
Yeah, is that what you used, Pepper Jack? I think you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
But cheese is like now you can kind of like sauce, like especially with Waitrose. I don't know who owns Waitrose.
No, I'm not sure.
But I'm not sure if it's an American brand that sort of like brings in American stuff. Because there is a lot of American stuff in there.
You can get it on Amazon, but it costs a fortune.
Yeah, I know, but I know you can get like when I go in there now, they do Frank's hot sauce. They do there's a barbecue sauce. I can't remember what it's called now. Stubbs, I think it's called, which is, I think is American barbecue sauce called Stubbs.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of American brands creeping into Waitrose.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to sort of like go down there and grab the right ingredients. Let's say just the fresh stuff you can't get.
Yeah.
Then it's hard to get like chipotle peppers. I've never seen over here.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can?
Yeah,
I've never seen them.
Yeah.
Never seen them at all. We've got wasp in here now.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, delicious. I'm gonna have a go at making them.
Yep.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Cheers.